This is A Geek Leader. Hey guys, this is John Rauda with The Geek Leader. This is episode 8, and today we're going to be talking about the leadership process. A lot of people think that leadership is more just something that happens. It's something that you have. You either are born as a leader or you're not. But that's not the case. Leadership is something that you have to train for. It's something that doesn't come automatically for most people. Most people have to practice at it. If I ask you to go run a marathon and you haven't trained for it, you would think that I was crazy, right? Well, the same thing is true with leadership. With leadership, you have to train. You can't just go out and try. You can't just try really hard to be a good leader and all of a sudden, wham, you're a leader. You have to actually work at it on a regular basis and train with the things that you do, with the words that you say, with your actions, and the whole process is just about training. So reading books is one great way to train, right? You want to educate yourself. You want to get better, right? And there's a difference between education and training. Education is just learning. Until you put that into practice, you're not really training, right? I mean, wouldn't you say there's a difference between sex ed and sex training, right? You definitely would rather learn, you have your kids go through sex ed than sex training. So education is just about learning, but training is about actually applying and putting things into practice. A lot of companies will educate their management about leadership, but very rare do they actually train their managers on leading. And by that, I mean putting people in situations, going through situational leadership training, or change management leadership training, or separation leadership training where people quit and how to deal with that and how to lead your people around you as turnover rates are going up. There's lots of things about that come through training, right? Like practicing mentorship. Having a mentor is a great way to train leaders. That way they actually get to talk about situations that people are in. It's more than just education. There's actually a relationship building and experience that goes on with that training process. So training is extremely important in the leadership development. One of my favorite stories is about Picasso. Everybody knows who Picasso is, right? He's a famous painter, and he was actually famous before he died, whereas a lot of painters aren't famous until they're dead and gone and their works are found and then they become famous. Well, Picasso wasn't that way. He was fortunate to be famous during his life. But Picasso also had a drinking problem, right? He liked to drink. He liked to spend a lot of time at the bars. And a lot of times when he was at those bars, he would just doodle something down on a sheet of paper, turn that in as his bar tab, because the bartender knew that he could sell that for way more than whatever Picasso could drink that night. All right, so one day while he was at the bar, as the story goes, I don't know how true this is, but I love the story. It's great for my example, so I'm going to use it. He was getting ready to leave, and this lady came up to him. She says, "Oh, Picasso, Picasso, I'm a huge fan of your work, Picasso. Can you please draw me something?" She handed him a pen, and he had a napkin. He spent about 15 to 30 seconds doodling something on this sheet of paper. He turned, got ready to hand it to her, and right before he handed it to her, he said, "Oh, no. That'll be $1 million. And she said, Picasso, that took you 30 seconds. And he smiled at her, and he looked, and he said, "No, ma'am. That took me 30 years to learn how to do that in 30 seconds. That's the way leadership works, right? So many people will look at a decision a leader makes, or the way that they respond to something, or the way they react, and they'll say, well, they're just a good leader. And they don't realize that they took time, they took effort, they put in the work to become a good leader. Being a success in leadership is not an overnight thing. There are no overnight successes. Overnight successes take years and years of work behind the scenes that people don't see. So if you want to become a good leader, you have to understand that you have to train at it. And don't get frustrated with the fact that sometimes you're not going to be great at it. Sometimes you're going to struggle. But you all got to start somewhere, right? You have to be a leader in one place or another. Okay? You have to practice. It's a journey. It's not just a project. It's a process. Okay? It's not something that just happens overnight. You have to work at getting better and better at leadership as you go. Okay? You don't just go out and try really hard to run a marathon. You train for it. You don't try really hard to be a boxer. You train for it, right? So with that being said, I want to leave you guys with another one of my favorite quotes that kind of is inspirational, right? So, and what that quote is one of the reasons why we struggle with insecurity is because we are comparing our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. And that quote's from Stephen Furtick. I think that is so true when it comes to leadership. We're always comparing what we see on the outward of everyone else around us. We see other people and we say, wow, that person's a great leader. They can handle these kind of situations. They knew exactly what to say. But that's their highlight reel. We're missing out on their behind the scenes. We're missing out on all the work they put in to get to that point, all the struggles that they had, all the failures that they came across. All right, so this is going to be just a short episode, and it's just to encourage you guys to train as a leader. Don't just try. Train. And training takes daily effort. It takes daily habits. It takes building yourself on to be a great leader by making great decisions on a daily basis. All right. And another one of my favorite quotes is from Todd Henry. It's mediocrity doesn't just happen. It's a daily choice. Right. You have daily choices that you make to either be a leader, to step up, to be vocal, or not. All right. So think about that today and just ponder on being a leader. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by What's HTML? Learn HTML in 4 hours. No, seriously, this book takes the 80-20 of HTML. So you only learn the things that you really need to know. You don't have to worry about those big, huge manuals with all the different syntax and all the different tags. Just learn what is a tag, how to open a tag, how to close a tag, what goes in the tag, how to do basic formatting and styling. You can check this book out on Amazon. You can check it out on Audible, on iTunes, or just go to whatshtml.com. Thanks a lot.